We're back here on the Hunter Call of the Wild, and today we're going to be doing a trophy lodge tour. I'm not going to show you absolutely every trophy, just the best trophies so far. And we're going to start with the trophies from Askiy Ridge. But before we head into it, let me know in the comments what your absolute best trophy is from Askiy Ridge. And somewhere in the video, I am going to share a key phrase. Drop that in the comments for your chance to win a 1-month membership to the channel. All right, let's start this tour. So, Askiy Ridge has been out for about a month now, just less than a month. And I do have most of my trophies in here, not all of them. Now, it's no secret, I do not love the Spring Creek Manor lodges, but I have no more space left. I have no choice but to use them. So, here we are. We'll start off with my 2 favorite rares from the new map. Actually 3. I have 3 piebald caribou, because I did a short caribou grind and I got pretty darn lucky. So this variation is actually different from this variation. If you look at their legs, we have 2 white legs and 2 dark legs. These legs are mostly white, and yeah, they are 2 different variations, which is pretty cool. Then if you look up here, I have a lot of my diamond muleys from the grind. Now, I do have a muley collection in a different lodge, and that is where I have put most of my muley rares. We will have a look at that in just a sec. And I finally have 2 diamond Manitoban elk after 4 trolls. 4 trolls. Pretty crazy, right? We do have a diamond dusky grouse. And I actually think I have 3 diamond wood bison. I also did a short grind. It was a grind off with iBuy, and that is why I have so many diamond wood bison. I found 1 while hunting and the other 2, well, I actually got 1 during that grind off, and found the second one while I was grinding muleys. Had I done 1 more rotation, I would have found 1 more diamond. And this is the new mountain goat. Don't they look amazing? And I was lucky enough to get a diamond of the new mountain goat. Look at the beard, eh? Don't they look incredible? And the new pronghorn. They look so much better than they used to. I am so impressed with the upgrades to all the species that they did with the last update. They look so good. And then, of course, this beautiful melanistic snow goose that I just got the other day. It is one of my absolute favorite trophies so far from Askiy Ridge. Now we're going to do a little run through. Okay, so these are all troll caribou. And I actually have another one around the corner. While doing that grind for caribou in Askiy Ridge, I got 5 trolls, and then I did get a max weight diamond. So some of these, like, look at this one. I thought this one was gonna make it for sure, but nope, all trolls. And then that one over there is also a troll. Pretty ugly troll if you ask me. And this is the max weight diamond. Scored 451. That is a big one. Then when you come through here, that is one of the diamond wood bison, and then I have 2 piebald wood bison. They are both females, and I actually found them back to back at lakes right beside each other, which is pretty nuts. That's another troll Manitoban elk. There's 4 in here somewhere. And these are actually not trophy beaver. That's just a placeholder. I actually do have a piebald. I'm not sure where it is. I'm gonna have to find it. Okay, let's head to the other lodges. Okay, so now we are in my Savannah / Silver Ridge Peaks lodge, and I'm going to start here with the crowned wildebeest, which is one of the nicest rares in Savannah. You can only get these in females, unfortunately. I would love if they came in male. And I do have an albino. And then this is my one and only diamond snow leopard. And this is my one and only rare snow leopard, and it is a leucistic. Now, they don't look that much different from the comments, but they definitely are a little bit different. I would love a melanistic and an albino. Every time I hit Sundar Patan, I always hunt snow leopards, because one of these days I am going to get lucky. So here is a diamond gray wolf, and this is one of the best reworks they did. The wolves look so amazing compared to how they used to look. Just wow. Wow, wow. This is one of my favorite multi-mounts. Here we have a gold albino cape with my one and only albino lion. It is a level 5. I am going to have to grind for some albino female lions, some lionesses. Don't have those yet. And this is my muley collection. Okay, so this is my biggest albino. I have not spawned a single albino in the muley grind yet. I'm hoping that is still going to happen. So this guy is a 234. Now I have to tell the truth, this is a pretty nice dilute, but it was not rare when I shot it, so doesn't really really count. And then this is a really nice piebald. This is the patchy piebald. And then this is the sneaky piebald. And they're pretty nice big ones. And again, the reworks look so good on the rares, on the mule deer. And then these were like diamonds that I hunted for, did not grind out. A lot more effort went into these than the ones that have spawned during the grind, but this is my biggest rare from the grind so far. I did put it in here with the rest of the muleys, and it is a 251.4, and I have been saying, if you go back and look at any of my older lodge tours when I'm showing the muleys, I always say, and all I need is a nice big melanistic to complete the collection. Well, we finally have it. But the collection is not complete because leucistic has been added. So I now need a nice big leucistic. So we will keep grinding. And then this is pretty cool. Over here, I have alternating melanistic and albino mountain lions. Now this is a nice big gold melanistic. I wonder if any of these albinos are gold. Nether gold. Now I have to say, when I shot these, they were way more common. It's a lot harder to find an albino or a melanistic mountain lion now than it was back in 2021. The game changes, you know, it doesn't stay the same. Updates change things, and that's a good thing. And this is a beautiful albino Roosevelt elk from back in 2021. And that is my Rocky Mountain elk collection. Now, I'm pretty sure I do have one that breaks 500. Not here, I don't. Maybe it's on Xbox. And then this is an albino Rocky Mountain elk that I just got just a few months ago. That is my first one ever. Okay, so we are now here in my Fallow / Sundar Patan Lodge, and I did grind tigers for a while, so I did manage to get some really sweet rares. So I have an albino right here. I don't even remember what level he is. I think he was a 7, I think. But he is a gold. Then I have a female melanistic. Don't they look amazing? And then this is a white woolly hair. Still need a diamond in order to get every diamond in the game, but the whites are pretty darn cool. This is the 8 mythical albino Iberian wolf that literally just walked onto the field as I was trying to shoot a diamond Iberian mouflon. You can't make this stuff up. That was absolutely crazy. And he is 0.5 under diamond. That was one of my favorite moments in this game ever. That was so crazy. So this is a melanistic piggy, a wild boar. Then we have a black gold up there and a diamond on the wall. This is one of my favorite multi-mounts as well. I love the multi-mount with the tiger and the Barasinga, especially the one where the tiger is biting the neck. I think that's super cool. So this guy is a pseudo-mela white, and this one is a white. And there's that pose again. Okay, we're on to the fallow great ones. So I have 8 fallow great ones. These were the first 4 to spawn. They all had the Irish elk rack, if you can believe it. The first one was a botch, broke my heart, but we did go on to get 7 more. And these are the 3 that spawned last summer. I went up to the cottage and did a lot of shooting and came home with 2 on the map, and the 3rd one spawned not many kills later, and we shot them all back to back with the bow on August the 31st. So there you go, all the same date. That was a pretty crazy stream. And then my best rares, I have another great one. Where is it? Okay, I found it, and there it is. So all 8 are in here now. So this is the last fallow great one that I spawned. That was back in September of last year. And so the only rack that I am now missing for the fallow great ones is the big rack, and I want one badly. And I believe the only fur that I still need is the hooded. So we have some golds. We need a hooded with the typical rack, or the big rack. So my biggest rares are right here. No super rares for me, unfortunately. I do not have the greatest luck with spawning super rares. The only super that I have spawned so far is my max weight big rack diamond albino moose, my absolute favorite trophy, which I will definitely show you shortly. So we have a 238 piebald. He's a pretty nice one. A 239 albino. These are definitely have a trophy rating that could definitely be a super troll, but not the Mela. It is a gold, but not as big as the others. It is a 193.9. And these are the tiniest fallow rares pretty much in existence, but aren't they cute? And actually, I've spawned like 3 or 4 piebalds that have scored around 237. I need them to get a bit bigger. Come on. And that brings us to our Whitetail Lodge. So this is my melanistic multi-mount, all of them are gold, which is pretty ironic because I actually spawned something like 38 rares in my first whitetail grind that took forever, and it took me almost 40 rares in order to spawn a single gold rare. And then I started herd management, and now all of my rares, pretty close, are gold. I do love herd management. Seriously, that is the truth. We haven't done whitetail in a while, but I need to spawn 2 Muley Great Ones, and then we're going to start the whitetail grind in Askiy Ridge. Now I have 9 whitetail Great Ones, so there's 3 right there. I do have quite a few duplicates, unfortunately. So this one right here is not a duplicate. This rack I have 3 of, and this split rack I have 3 of as well, and that was the first one to ever spawn, and there it is. My first Great One spawned on September the 6th, 2021. So almost 4 years ago. This is my favorite whitetail Great One. It is the big rack, and it took me a lot of whitetail Great Ones in order to spawn the big rack. I think he was my 8th whitetail Great One, 7th or 8th. But this rack, which I think is called the short rack, I love this rack. It's probably my second favorite whitetail rack next to the big rack. And then we have the Tahr Great Ones. Now this is my latest Tahr Great One that I just got back in June. Man, that was tense. We took him down with the bow from like 15 meters. And I will leave the link to that video in the description below, because that was insane. And then this hunt was pretty nuts too. So this Great One took well over 3,000 kills to spawn. I believe it was 3,300. And then he finally spawned, and then this one spawned 28 kills later, and I shot them in the same stream. So July the 26th and July the 26th, 21:53 and 21:24. So half an hour apart. And then we have all of the Tahr rares. I do have every rare. I don't have a gold of every rare, and that's probably thanks to me shooting with the 300. I definitely have shot a few rares with the 300. So it's my own fault. Okay, so we are now in my absolute favorite lodge out of all of them. This is my moose, bear, and red fox lodge. And moose are my absolute favorite species in the entire game. I just love hunting moose. And I have more moose Great Ones than any other species. I do have 10. 6 of them are spider racks, and I actually got 6 spider racks in a row. And then I did finally break the spider rack curse, and I've had 2 Great Ones since spawning a spider rack that did not have the spider rack. And this rare is a beauty, and I actually was so over the moon when this guy spawned, it was live on stream, that I was wiping tears from my face. I was so used to spawning tiny little rares that I was just so elated. Little did I know what was still to spawn. This is my last moose Great One. This guy spawned on May the 31st, and he is a 2-tone quad rack. Pretty cool combo. I think this rack looks really good with that fur. Very nice. These are my only 2 black bear Great Ones, and we are going to be doing a black bear grind in Askiy Ridge as well. So we are going to be adding another black bear Great One to the lodge in the near future. So this is a fabled glacier. He was the first one to spawn back in July of 2022. That was 3 years ago yesterday. And then the fabled cream, and that was just last year. Now, if you are enjoying the video so far, take a sec and splat that like button so it can spread to more amazing people. So this was my favorite moose Great One for quite a while. And yes, he has a diamond bobwhite quail on his noggin. And this is the moose Great One that broke the spider rack curse. And this is probably my favorite Great One moose. It's my second favorite Great One out of all of them, but my favorite Great One is this guy on the right, the fabled Midnight Poppy Red Fox. This guy took me 2 full months to spawn, so he took 3,433 males. So all in all, including the females that I had to shoot in the grind, I'd say he took about 8,000 kills. That is probably my longest grind ever. But at least I got this beautiful Great One that I absolutely love. So it was worth it. I can say that now that it's in the past. And then my first 2 Great One moose are these 2 commons up on the wall. The first one to spawn was the quad, and the second was the spider rack. And then I pretty much have the entire spider rack collection, almost. The only moose fur, Great One moose fur that I am missing is the oak. So I need an oak, and I don't have a big rack or a split rack. And I want both of them badly. But this is my absolute favorite trophy that I have ever gotten in this game. Ever. And I honestly don't know if anything will ever beat it. I love this trophy so much. And I was so shocked when it spawned. I wasn't even grinding when it spawned. I was recording a video and I was showing off some weapons and shot a diamond. It was a big rack diamond, harvested it, went and did something else on a different map, came back to show off shooting a moose with a different weapon, and there he was standing in the zone. Insane. Then this is my latest super rare. This is a diamond melanistic blacktail, and that's insane too. Pretty crazy. And this is an albino Tibetan fox. Now, it's not a super rare, but the albino Tibetan foxes are one of the nicest albinos in the game. Unfortunately, when I put the light on it, it is super blown out, but look how vibrant this albino is. Absolutely beautiful. So here are my rare saltwater crocs. We do have a melanistic, a piebald, a light brown. I do have, actually, the only rare that I'm missing is leucistic for crocs. And then this is a piebald Grant caribou. Aren't they stunning? That looks so much nicer than it did when I shot it. So much nicer. Oh yeah, and I wanted to mention that this guy in the multi-mount is actually an 8 mythical piebald that spawned right after the great one spawned. Let's look here. So the great one spawned on February the 8th, or I shot him on the 8th. I didn't spawn him on the 8th. And this guy spawned on the 9th. That could have been the great one's respawn. Maybe it was. I really don't know. I love the melanistic geese too. This is a melanistic magpie. Isn't that stunning? And then my melamooser in here. I haven't shot a melanistic moose in a long time. This is my nicest mela. And man, again, I was so elated when this spawned. I actually did a moose grind before the moose great one came out, and that is what I got from it. And a pile of diamonds. And this guy spawned on Christmas Eve. And I had no idea he was melanistic until I picked him up. He was in a tree. I'm glad I got a vital. And this beauty is a super troll. This was a level 5 piebald that actually was just chilling on my map in Layton, which is pretty insane. Now, unfortunately, he did not make diamond. He scores 260, but he is still absolutely beautiful. And I still want a super rare piebald moose. But over here, this is actually a super rare goose. Now, unfortunately for me, gray is no longer rare for Canada Goose as of the last update, but it was rare when I shot it, so this is still a super rare, in my opinion. Hey man, it wasn't when I shot it, so as far as I'm concerned, it counts. And we can't forget this guy. This is the Diamond Leucistic Western Capercaillie that I got live on stream back in 2024. Geez, that was less than a year ago. I actually found this guy from disturbed vegetation, if you can believe it. After that, I never, ever got rid of disturbed veg. I had to say goodbye to Pack Mule after that. I had to. And we have a very sweet albino harlequin duck. One of the prettiest ducks in the game. And that brings us to our red deer lodge. Now, this lodge has not changed in a very long time. I have not grinded red deer in years. And it's honestly because the red deer great ones are all the same. I have 6 of them. I just don't feel like I need to put the time in to get more. They're beautiful, don't get me wrong. I love my red deer great ones, but I just don't find the need to grind out more of them. And my luck with super rares is so terrible that I think you guys would get sick of me shooting red deer before a super rare spawned. So that is why I have not grinded red deer in a long time. But I will eventually go back to it because I would love some super rare red deer. That will probably take me a zillion kills to spawn. But the very first red deer great one was a botch. Here it is here. That was 3.5 years ago. And now I have 6. So, and the last one was the biggest. And that spawned 3 years ago in June. Oh, this is pretty cool. This is actually a melanistic coyote with a diamond bobcat. And the melanistic coyotes are pretty cool. And then I have an albino blue sheep, and that actually is not a trophy snow leopard. I should actually put my diamond in there. I will definitely do that at some point. And this is an albino barrasinga. I actually do have a small melanistic barrasinga, but I don't know where it is. Now, unfortunately, we can no longer put big trophies on small mounts, so I will never be taking these down because I'll never be able to put them back up. And then this is my rares room. Now, back when I started grinding red deer, I didn't even know what herd management was back then, and I just shot everything. So we have rares here from as little as level 3 all the way up to a super troll right over here. This guy was a 9 legendary, but he was a guaranteed troll, of course. But I do have quite a few beautiful piebald red deer, and I couldn't tell you which ones are level 8s and which ones are mythical. There's a lot of big ones. I did pretty well with the mellas, really well with the piebalds, not so well with the albinos, and this is the biggest albino to spawn, and it's just a silver. But I do have a gold out here. So this is my biggest albino red stag, and I actually got this guy on opening day for Te Awaroa back in 2020. Holy! This is one of the oldest trophies in any of my lodges. And then the mellas are up here, and yeah, I do need to grind red deer at some point because unfortunately this beautiful melanistic stag should be a gold, but back then they drank at night and I shot him with the 300. I actually shot 2 of them with the 300. Oops! Oh well, yeah. You know what? I have so many things I need to grind for. I just need more hours in the day. Okay, so we are now in my Mississippi Acres Lodge. So we have some really beautiful piebald alligators. I was gonna say crocs, but they're gators. I love the piebalds, they're so cool, and this is a really cool multi-mount. So we do have a diamond raccoon. I actually took a long time to get a diamond raccoon. That was one of the diamonds I needed to have them all. And so is this guy, the wild hog, that we got back in October. Now I filled this up with my zillions of diamond foxes and lots of moose and whitetail. Basically, these are lodges where I put excess trophies. Ooh, look at that, a leucistic. See, this leucistic should be on a floor mount, but I don't have one. EW, could we please have some more trophy lodges, please? We need them so bad. So a couple of brown hybrid Canadian geese, and they look so good. I haven't seen them since they were updated. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty sweet mount, a couple of piebalds, and that is also a pretty cool mount. And then up here, I do have a melanistic gator, another piebald, and a diamond in the middle. Okay, so we are now in my mule deer lodge, and let me tell you, 1 week ago, this lodge looked very, very different. Like, very different. In the last week, geez, in the last just 3 or 4 days, I spawned a super rare albino mule deer. Then I spawned a super troll. I didn't even notice it was rare. This is what I saw, and that is what I shot, and I did shoot it with the 300. Thank God he wasn't a diamond. I would have cried for a long time. But he is still beautiful. 308 piebald. Holy. And then this 260 dilute spawned, and then about 100 kills later, the great one finally spawned after 3,135 kills. Holy. But a super rare and a great one, totally worth 3,000 kills to me. Totally worth it, even though it did feel like a rough grind right into the end there. So the best rare, aside from what spawned in the last few days, was this beautiful 251 melanistic. So I have a pretty sweet mule deer collection. Like, look, 4 monster rares and a great one. And then I have all my diamonds up there. I do have quite a few more rares. So there you have it. That is my Muley Lodge. And last but not least, we are here in the Leighton Lakes Trophy Cabin. These were all shot while hunting specifically for this lodge. I am going to continue making videos for this series. And look at this beautiful piebald red deer that I got from Hirschfelden. So there you have it. Those are my lodges as of July 2025. But if you did enjoy today's video, go ahead and splat that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share the video, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what your absolute best trophy is of all time. And as always, thank you so much for watching.